Well, hello, fellow estheticians. Welcome to the part two. This is where I'm actually demonstrating how to use diamond tip microdermabrasion machine. Now, this is what I've prepared. If you look at my wands here, so I have prepared my 3 wands. One of them is ready to go because that's what I want to start with. And this is what I do. We talked about the numbers. So I take all of my tips that I think I want to use on my client and I put them number face up. Okay, so remember, I'm going to repeat that the higher the number, the finer the grit. That means the less abrasive it is. Okay, the less of the number, okay, the lesser the number, the more abrasive the crystal powder is. Okay, so that means that the actual crystals are larger and they're going to be more abrasive going over the skin. So more dead skin, that means the client will feel a bit more maybe discomfort, maybe not. To some people it feels really good when they feel that abrasiveness. Now, but what it does mean for you is that because you're working with a lower number, that means the crystal powder is a bit more coarser. That means that you have to keep in mind what? Exactly, sensitive skin. Sensitive skin. So if you're dealing with, sensitive areas like cheeks, okay, or any areas where you have to be careful, then that number should go up. You should not use the very low. You shouldn't use a coarse tip. Okay, go up on the number. Now, just real quick to go on the contraindications for the microdermabrasion machine, what do we need to keep in mind? Okay, definitely we're not going over anything that's red. Okay, I'm not talking about pink, I'm talking about redness. That means pustules, for sure. We're not going over pustules with microdermabrasion. Some papules, we're not going over. Distended capillaries, we're not going over. If we're dealing with rosacea, we're not going over those areas, over the inflamed areas. So there's a lot of inflammation, puffiness, redness. Even though we see that there are dead cells there and a lot of buildup of dead skin, we're not going to choose diamond tip microdermabrasion as our way to remove dead cells or exfoliate the skin. We have other means, right? We have some chemical peels that are good for inflamed skin. We have some enzyme peels. We have very light scrubs that we can use. After all, we can use one of my favorites that I love to use is my little brush, okay, which I absolutely love. It has 2 speeds. It's very, very fine. It's very soft. The bristles are soft. So we can always use other means of exfoliation. But diamond tip microdermabrasion is not for everybody. Now, so any open lesions, psoriasis, eczema, or anything like that, we're not going over. Okay. Now, I also ask a question, or I look at the scan just to understand if they're on any blood thinners, because another thing that I need to pay attention to is the suction part of it. Because if the skin is very thin, if they bruise easily, if you already see a lot of broken capillaries, then you have to lower the suction. Okay, yes, you may get not as much of that dead layer off, but you know what, safety comes first. All right, so suction and the grit is what we're paying attention to when thinking about contraindications. I'm talking to estheticians here, licensed estheticians, so I know you guys know your contraindications for this machine. It's very fun, I love it, but contraindications come first. So always, you have me, I am all over Facebook. You can find me, my email, my phone number. You can message me. If you don't know, please ask me first. Okay, ask me first if you can use this machine. Now, another thing is, when do we use? What step of the facial this falls into? Now, we definitely have to use our first two cleansers, right? Our first cleanser is the surface cleanser, so we have to cleanse the surface of the skin first, and that's usually our makeup removers or our milky cleansers. Then we use our second cleanser, and our second cleanser is our specialized cleanser, whether it's for oily skin or sensitive skin or anti-aging, or any other conditions, right, that we work with. So that's what our second cleanser is for. So we use our second cleanser. With the second cleanser, I usually turn my steam on. Now, by the book, we don't steam and do microdermabrasion, okay? This is where I told you, in my practice, you could have it as an exception on some skin that is very thick, coarse, that is very stagnant, hasn't been exfoliated for years, has a lot of buildup, has a lot of crust, or has a thick hyperpigmentation on it, and it's a very resistant skin. Sometimes I do steam, but what I do is obviously I watch how long I steam for, and I look for the reaction on the skin, so I see the redness, the level of stimulation. Okay, now, so sometimes I do steam, and when I steam at the second cleanser, not at the first, at the second cleanser, and then through my exfoliation. So I would do the second cleanser, I would remove it, I'd put my exfoliator on, I remove it, so the whole time the steamer is on. Okay, that's usually about 10 minutes maximum. Now I remove that, I remove my scrub or my exfoliator, and then I dry the skin. Okay, now for any microdermabrasion machine, most manufacturers do suggest that the skin is dry. Machines don't like moist, they can break faster. Okay, of course, me being a woman and an esthetician, I've experimented, and I be honest with you that I've tried to use this microdermabrasion machine right over the moist skin. Okay, and some of you are going to hear me right now and disagree with me, and that's okay, but I have tried it, I have experimented, and I used this diamond tip microdermabrasion treatment over the moist skin, even over a little bit of a toner, or whether it's water, moist, a little bit of cleanser, and you know what, I had pretty good results. I liked it. It didn't abrade the skin so much, and I got a good amount of skin off. So again, if you want to try, I'm just sharing it with you. If you want to try it, try it. But manufacturer's recommendation, the skin should be dry. The skin should be dry. There must be a filter in there. Okay, so don't ever forget to put the filter in there, because it catches everything. It catches the moist, it catches the dead cells. You don't want it to go through the holes and particles into the machine. Now, when I'm done with the scrub, then I'm going to wipe the scrub off. Sometimes I may even use a cool warm towel, not a cool, warm towel, warm to hot towel, just to kind of soften the dead skin, and just to relax the muscle a little bit, and then dry the skin, and then use microdermabrasion machine. Okay, so that's where microderm would fall in, either right after the second cleanser, or if there's more buildup of dead skin, you know, we can actually see it, you know, we feel that white, or we see the white hue, the white covering on the skin, we know that that's that dry, dead crust. You know, in that case, I use my light exfoliant first, sometimes even an enzyme peel, and then I use microdermabrasion. Okay, just so I can go a little bit deeper with microderms. Again, some of you may feel like it's an overkill and it's too abrasive, but in my practice there are cases where there's way too much buildup of dead cells, where, you know, just the microderm is not enough, and I have a good feeling that the skin is okay, it's strong enough to actually be exfoliated first with the scrub, and then be worked on with the microdermabrasion tip. Okay, so that's where most of the time that's where the microdermabrasion falls in the facial. After I do microdermabrasion, then I do extractions. Okay, sometimes I put, after microderm, I put a warm towel on and keep the towel on the face and do extractions. Yes, the towel gets cooler, but at the same time it keeps the skin moist. Okay, because once the microdermabrasion tends to dry the skin, and a lot of times I can't, I'm not as successful with extractions on the dry skin, and we know that. So I keep the towel on, do my extractions, then remove the towel, and then proceed with the mask, with toner, massage. I believe that massage is too much, depending on the massage. But any stimulating massage in my facials is not welcome when I'm doing microdermabrasion. Okay, I can do some manipulation, I can do some effleurage to actually calm the skin down. I can massage with certain masks, but I don't do my rigorous massage, my anti-aging massage after microdermabrasion, because that's overstimulating the skin. That's too much. Microdermabrasion, the suction part of it, already brings up the blood circulation, so that is considered a massage for the skin. So a lot of times you don't have to additionally do a full-blown massage on the skin. Okay, too much. So that's how it goes. Okay, let's go ahead and start. I have already prepared my first tip for my client. I've checked my client's skin, I cleansed it. So we will go ahead and jump right into the microdermabrasion. Pushing start, and always start with the forehead. Remember, I told you that you have to check the suction, either placing your thumb on and looking and playing with the bar to control the intensity. Another way that some estheticians check is on their actual skin. I don't prefer that so much, because again, you're placing it on, you're brazing your own skin, so now your dead cells are on here, and then you're putting it on the client. So that's a little bit unsanitary, so try not to do that. Cover it, always wear gloves, cover it, control the bar there, set the bar, and then try it like a little piece on your client's skin, okay, and see if it's too strong. Okay, so I already feel that it's fine. You see how it gives her a little bit of let's pull that camera a little bit closer if you guys can see. It gives her a little bit of pink on the skin, but no redness. Okay, I also asked my client, how does it feel? This was just a test out. How does this feel to you?
It feels, surprisingly, it feels good. It's not as abrasive as I thought it would be, but it's pleasant. Doesn't hurt.
Okay, so it's not uncomfortable.
No, it's not uncomfortable.
But do you feel like?
I feel like something is pulling and scratching against my skin.
Okay.
But it feels good, like I'm getting a good cleanse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So this is what I wanted to hear. So my client is comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and start. So I always start with forehead. It's a less of a sensitive area here. So this is what I do. Okay. I definitely have to stretch the skin. Okay. We go vertical. We don't have to overlap. If you notice, I stretch the skin both ways and I go from one finger to another. Now, to remove, now you don't have to press in. You actually catch the skin and you pull up a little bit, okay? And that gives the skin a good amount of blood circulation, stimulation. Okay, you go slow. Okay, when you go from one finger to another, as soon as you reach the finger, that's when you just lift. And you lift kind of in that flaking way, okay? Like so. Like so. Like so. And here's the difference. On our suction glass, right? We have that little hole to release the pressure, to release the vacuum, okay? That's why when we use our suction, all we do is we're playing with our finger to release it. We don't have to pull it off the skin. With microdermabrasion, with diamond tip microderm, it's different. There is no hole where we can release the suction. So remember, the longer you hold it on the skin, the more suction is happening, okay? So that's why I'm a fan of short strokes, not long strokes, okay? So you go horizontally over the head, over the forehead, be gentle, and then you go, now depending on how loose or tight the skin is, you see in this case my client's skin is young, tight, there's still enough collagen there, so I'm holding, going horizontally, I'm only holding on one side, so I'm pulling one side and the microderm is pulling the other side, and then as I'm finishing my stroke, I just release. I just release. Okay, you never wanted to do that. Okay, that's not cool, especially around the eyes. That doesn't feel good. Okay, you want to be as gentle as possible, kind of like stroking and feathering. Feathering. I'm going to turn your head a little bit like this so you can see it. Okay, in the areas where I see that the skin is turning red, I'm going to turn down the suction or switch to another head. Okay, like I see on my client, cheeks is her sensitive area, so I will definitely switch to a different grid, and I already prepared it. This one is 100, this is 150, so this one is lighter, so I'm going to use that one on her cheeks. Okay, now on the cheeks, on the client's cheeks, where do you go? Do you go down or up? Technically, of course, you always want to go against the gravity and you want to go up, but as long as you're holding the skin, sometimes I go up and down. So here I go vertical. I'm not touching the area where she's sensitive. I like what I see. She's turning pink a little bit. I'm not rushing. The longer you stay on the skin, the more dead cells you're collecting. Okay, technically this is my first pass, and because of the video you see me repeating, but if I was not doing a video, I would just be doing one pass, not overlapping, just one pass over. Okay, then evaluate my area, and my second pass, so you go up to 3 passes. My second pass would also be probably overall, okay, at least in my client's case, because she has young skin. Sometimes she gets little pimples, little blackheads here and there. Her cheeks are a little bit sensitive. She has a little bit of pigmentation on the sides of her cheeks, around her mouth, so she hasn't had a facial in a while. I evaluated her skin. I did some skin analysis under magnifying lamp. She does have buildup of dead skin. So on her, I would do 2 overall passes. Okay, her cheeks only get 1 pass. Her nose definitely gets 2 passes. The T-zone is getting 2 passes. And then my third pass is going to be just in the areas of concern. In her case, the areas of concern for the microdermabrasion treatment would be her nose. That's where she has the most amount of buildup, to her T-zone pretty much, chin, and her hyperpigmentation on the sides of her cheeks. Okay, that's my third pass. Now, which coarseness do I choose for the third pass? I don't know. It depends on how pink or red she's going to turn. Okay, if she's not reacting, if she's fine, if she doesn't turn red, then I may go with the same coarseness, with the nice coarse tip, and go the third pass just right over her pigmentation, okay, and the areas where she has a lot of buildup of dead skin. Now nose, I'm gonna go ahead and switch. You see how easy instead of unscrewing the tips and all of that and redoing my filter, I just go ahead and switch my wands. This is for the nose, okay? Make sure you don't suffocate your client and just be gentle and not close their nostrils. I will go ahead and just place it so we can see better. Tilt the nose a little bit. Now, this is a smaller opening. On the smaller opening, you can turn up the suction. I'm gonna turn up the suction almost, so we started right under 20. I'm gonna go up to 30 on the nose, and I will go ahead and try it. I can even go higher. I can feel it. You see, this is pretty, because the opening is so small, I can go ahead and go higher. Okay. Yeah, this is 45. How does this feel? Feels okay?
Yeah. Doesn't hurt.
Okay. On the nose, I'm going over. Most of the time, unless the nose is very sensitive, I go vertical, horizontal. I go across. Sometimes I even do some round movements. But remember, the longer the suction stays on, the more it's going to pull the skin in. Okay, so just be careful, because especially around the nostrils, a lot of people have broken capillaries, sensitive areas, especially when allergies are happening. Still, one hand always follows the other. And you're holding the skin, even on the nose. Okay, that's how you do the nose. Now, I'm gonna switch to the finer tip, and I will do, now don't forget that every time you switch a wand, make sure you double check your suction. Make sure you double check your suction. So I'm checking, I'm going back to under 20, because I'm dealing with, and I feel like in her sensitive area, that's too much suction. So I'm gonna go even lower, because I'm on the sensitive area. Eyes. Okay, I'm holding the skin taut and I'm staying on the orbital bone. Okay, you can go both ways. Well, I go both ways. I go out holding the skin, or you can go in, but you must hold the skin. Hold the skin taut. Okay, cheeks, sensitive areas, if they get a pass, they only get one pass, okay, without overlapping. If you want to do crow's feet, that's also considered a sensitive area. You will just do, again, stretch the skin. You can go up, horizontal, and across. Okay, that's it. Again, monitor the skin, guys. You always have to monitor the skin. You can see when the skin is getting irritated, red, and so on. Okay, if not, don't go over 3 passes. But if need to be, then stay under 3 passes. Do 1, 2, or 3, depending on the sensitivity of the skin and the area of the skin. Okay. Chin, very easy. Yeah, I ask my client to pull their lip in. Very good, because this is where we usually get, you see, I'm holding one way, and the other hand, the working hand, is pulling out. You see where my pinky is? My pinky is here. I'm bracing. So I'm never working just free hand like this. Okay, I'm always bracing, holding the skin on one side, short strokes, short strokes. When you're doing short strokes, you're more in control of it. You're more in control of what you're doing. Okay, then go ahead and release. Okay, so this way you can do right around the lip. Okay, so you see my manipulations, how I control the skin, how I hold it taut, either from on both sides. Okay, you see this hand is holding it on both sides, and as I'm going, my pinky here, so you can see it right here, it's also bracing, so I'm good. I'm steady here. I'm in control. I'm not pulling her skin. I'm being gentle. I'm not pushing in, okay? I'm actually pulling the skin up a little bit. So I'm being very, very gentle. So I'm gonna just adjust the camera here, right like this, so you guys can see it a little bit closer, just like that. Okay, holding on both sides, vertical and horizontal. Stretch the skin, hold the skin on both ends, from one finger to another. One question I get, do we do the neck? Okay, you can, but the neck and around the eyes is always getting the lowest setting on the suction. Okay, basically somewhere at 10 or under 10. Okay, so let's try just on this side. I will go ahead, make sure this does not touch the skin, so however you want to throw it on your arm, but it doesn't touch the client's skin. Okay, it doesn't feel good. On the neck you can do, again, depends on the neck. My client's neck is nice and long. She's a young individual, so you know I can do some long strokes here. Okay, and even on her, she's turning pink quickly. Neck is has a very thin skin. It's sensitive. It's definitely necessary to do a good microdermabrasion on the neck, especially if you are dealing with anti-aging. But the suction should stay down. And you just go one pass. One pass is enough for the neck. Okay. Can we do décolleté? Of course we can. We can do the chest or décolleté. I wouldn't use these ones. They're too, or these tips, they're too small. I would definitely go to my larger, coarser ones, and we can cover the décolleté with it. Décolleté treatment is an add-on in my facials. Microdermabrasion treatment just covers the face and the neck, not the décolleté. Décolleté is a separate treatment, but again, that's in my world. You guys can do what's you know, what's convenient for you, what's best for you and for your clients. So after we microderm, okay, after for the skin, so I'm leaving this here, or I can move it away until I'm done with the facial. After this, you can do couple of things here. If there's a lot of dead cells laying around on the face left after microdermabrasion, it happens sometimes, because usually that's what we deal with crystal microdermabrasion. But with diamond tip, if there's a lot of buildup, sometimes you can feel particles on the face. You can go ahead and run a cleanser over it, or just the mist, spray mist, okay, or toner. Now toner can be put on the cotton round, okay, or the square just piece of cotton, and you can always wipe the skin. This will rebalance the pH, calm the skin down, rehydrate the skin. Guys, it all depends on the facial. All depends on what you're doing. Again, if we're dealing with congested skin, maybe there's a little bacteria, then witch hazel. Another thing I love to do after drying the skin out with microdermabrasion, I love to replenish that moisture, and I use my, you see how much, I don't know if you're able to see, but it's a lot of skin particles on it. We can see the color, okay? Even though we cleansed her skin, we exfoliated her skin, but look how much more. It looks almost like dirt, okay? But that's how much we got. We lifted with a diamond tip microdermabrasion. And what I love to do afterwards, I love to replenish that moisture, and I'm going to demonstrate how I absolutely love. So what I do is I cover the décolleté of my client, and they close their eyes, and I use my mister on it, my little spray device, this one, okay? So I will go ahead and I get pretty close. By the book, it's 15 inches away, just like the steamer. Okay, I cover their nostrils. I go pretty close to their face. Sometimes I even massage with the toner. I ask my client if they're okay. Some clients are loving it, and some say that it's hard to breathe. So I kind of do it, oh, I turned it off. So I kind of do it in increments, or I close their nose, but I go pretty close, you know. I replenish that moisture. I want to flush their pores, and I do that little massage over their skin with the toner, with a good nutritious toner. So that flushes their pores. And then I would do it again. And I love it because the mist is so fine, it soaks into the skin quickly. Okay, so this is where you just rebalanced the pH of the skin. You can either massage it in or just wipe the excess with a cotton round. I mean, there are many options that you have when you're using a mist, spray mist. And then whatever your next step is, okay, whether it's extractions, whether it's you know, the mask massage or whatever. Microdermabrasion treatment usually lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's very important after you're done with the facial and your client is gone, is to actually take care and clean your microdermabrasion machine. So let me show you real quick how to clean this machine, okay, and your diamond tips. So again, we have each tip needs to be unscrewed. What I do is, great, I can even see some dead skin. We did only a little bit and I already see it, so that's great. Now this is what we're doing. Each tip you have to wash it with the antibacterial soap, and you have to get in there and clean it out. Okay, so what I like to do is I take a mascara wand. Okay, I take a mascara wand and I put some soap in it and clean it, just like brushing your teeth. Okay, I clean around the tip, all in there, and then rinse it and then do it again. All right, after that I let it dry, and then I either spray it with Cavicide or Barbicide, okay, and then 10 minutes, rinse it again, let it dry, and then put it in the sterilizer. Okay, so these are definitely not disposable. Okay, you can properly cleanse them and you can sterilize them, sanitize them and sterilize them. Okay, but you have to do it after each client. Okay, so if you use all 9 tips, then all 9 tips are being cleansed and sterilized. And then when they're completely dry and sterilized, then you can go ahead and put them inside your box container. It has to be in a closed container. You can use the original box. Not a big fan of it. I like our plastic closed containers or glass containers, but I know that a lot of estheticians just keep it in the original box, and that's okay. That's fine as long as it's all clean. So I think that pretty much covers our microdermabrasion treatment. You guys know where to find me. MyAdorned group is where we always discuss machinery, equipment, gadgets. So go ahead and ask me any questions. If you request another video to cover up details, I can do that. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.